This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, Queenstown rolled out the welcome mat as flights brought more than 1,000 visitors from Auckland today. The Royal Commission's report into abuse in state care is released with major recommendations for change. And a Dunedin singer's been invited to play at a prestigious American music festival early next year. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Dave Gooselink. The domestic tourism floodgates have reopened in Otago, with the first flights arriving from Auckland into Queenstown this morning. Thousands of people are expected to arrive in the southern tourist resort over the next week.
The COVID-19 lockdown is finally over for hundreds of Aucklanders who enthusiastically reunited with friends and family at Queenstown Airport this morning.
It was bright and early. We were on one of the first flights out, and lovely flight. It was wet in Auckland, but it looks beautiful here, so we're very happy to be out.
It was a really lovely flight. The views were incredible. I hadn't been to Queenstown in quite a long time, so it was lovely to get out and do something different after being in Auckland for quite a long time. So.
Kelly Rosie is planning to walk the Milford track, while 16-year-old Ava Madison is travelling with a group of promising road cyclists from Epsom Grammar School. Queenstown Lakes Mayor Jim Bolt and Queenstown Airport Chief Executive Glenn Sowry waited inside the terminal to greet the visitors to the district. For the airport boss, it was a relief to see large passenger planes land again for the first time in his 3 months in the job.
I've been in the role 3.5 months. My first 3 days in the role, there was not a single flight. And so today was what being in an airport's all about. It was just fantastic to see.
Air New Zealand Flight 611 was the first flight in 117 days to deliver northern passengers to the South Island. It arrived at 8:45 a.m. with 168 passengers on board. One of those enjoying the flight south was Air New Zealand General Manager Customer Leanne Langridge.
People were just excited and wanting to get on with Christmas and seeing their friends in whānau, and we've been 120 days in Auckland in lockdown, and kind of for us it feels we've done the hard mahi and now it's time to be with our loved ones, so it was lovely.
Airport staff processed about 1,500 passengers from Auckland across the day after travel restrictions were lifted at midnight. Most of those people were expected to arrive on one of Air New Zealand's 7 scheduled flights today. Jetstar also returned to Queenstown, operating 3 scheduled flights with about 300 passengers booked on one. It's just the start of what the region hopes will be a bumper summer, with many organisations rolling out the welcome mat. In Queenstown, The South Today.
A man was arrested after becoming aggressive towards staff and breaking equipment in a Dunedin bank yesterday. Police were called to Kiwi Bank Moray Place in central Dunedin at 10 a.m. A 26-year-old man went into the bank to make a withdrawal but became verbally abusive as staff were processing his request. Police say during his rant, the man hit a Perspex barrier on the top of the counter, which broke, hitting a staff member in the face. The offender was found shortly after in the Octagon and arrested for willful damage and assault. A Royal Commission report into abuse in state care recommends the government should apologise to survivors and establish a new system to deal with complaints. There are 95 recommendations in the damning report, which was released earlier today. It follows 15 weeks of public hearings and hundreds of interviews with survivors. That work is culminated in the Royal Commission's report, which found the system is unquestionably failing survivors. The report includes a number of personal stories from survivors about their experiences, with many victims of sexual abuse in Otago and Southland. There are calls for apologies from the Governor-General, Prime Minister and the heads of relevant faith-based institutions and state care providers. Clutha Mayor Brian Cadogan has revealed he'll undergo an operation to treat prostate cancer this week. The Mayor's diagnosis comes after his younger brother, Central Otago Mayor Tim Cadogan, was diagnosed with the same cancer in February. His brother's treatment is believed to have been successful. 62-year-old Brian says he's also hopeful of a positive outcome from an operation to remove the cancer. The long-standing Clutha Mayor is confident he'll be back in action next year following a period of further treatment and recovery. Singer-songwriter Kylie Price began her musical career at open mic nights in Dunedin bars under the supervision of her parents. Now the experienced performer is set to take to the skies to represent Aotearoa at a major music festival in the United States.
At 28 years of age, Dunedin musician Kylie Price has been playing in public for half of her life and is now on the verge of a major step into international stardom.
So in March next year I'm going to South by Southwest, which is in Austin, Texas. It's a massive festival which isn't just music, there's also film and up and coming innovation, but I'm going over as a showcase artist, so very exciting.
South by Southwest is an international film, music and interactive media festival based in Texas, which draws hundreds of thousands of people. And over the years has attracted many international stars, including the late Amy Winehouse. Price is looking forward to taking part in the prestigious event.
We got asked to apply, and so it was just an application like you would for, I guess, other festivals. Nothing too different. Sent in a couple of audio files and a live video, and yeah, that was about it. And then got the email in mid-November.
During her 14-year career based in Dunedin, she's been thankful for solid local support and is ready to perform in the American festival, proudly representing her city and country. However, Kylie Price isn't the first Dunedin act to play at the highly sought-after festival, with both angular punk rockers Die 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 and now the globally touring and recognised 660 playing there in 2013. Kylie Price wings her way to the US in March 2022. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whaia Akene still to come on the South Today. House prices continue to climb, but those days could be numbered. And how to dress your Christmas tree and what to do with it when the party's over.
It's time to splash out at My Mate John's and choose the deal. This weekend only, John's offering 2 great credit deals. It's up to you.
And My Mate John.
Every day the team at Gillian's supports grieving families at their time of need. From answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Spark your joy with jazz, the next generation from Honda.
Hi there, guess who? You recognise the eyes? Oh, okay, it's a haircut. Anyway, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores are carrying on as usual. Despite what's happening in the world, we have got some great stock for you. Personally, I've spent 50 years in this business and we have some excellent supplier relationships. We've got great stock, it's hand-picked, it's here, it's on time, and it's ready for this great summer.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So, as my favourite cut says, keep calm and carry on.
Certainly being on a bike, the frustrations you get when people are behind you, they're impatient, you know, it's only 5 or 10 seconds more out of your day, and when you think about it, we're on a lot longer journey than you are, and just keeping space. It's not hard to give a metre, you know, even if it means waiting a minute or so to pass.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Welcome back. You may have to plan ahead to avoid getting caught short this summer near Dunedin's Octagon. The municipal lane public toilets remain closed under the orange setting of the COVID-19 traffic light system. Meanwhile, the toilets at the Dunedin Public Library can only be accessed by people with a government vaccine pass or children aged under 12. Some Dunedin residents are disappointed by the City Council's stance, telling the ODT they thought it was wrong that people were refused a basic need. They're concerned about unvaccinated people being further excluded from society, questioning how use of a public bathroom was not considered essential. The City Council insists its priority is to keep staff, customers and the wider community safe. Property prices in Dunedin have continued to climb, with 7 of the top 10 house sales over the past year topping the $2 million mark. This house in Terahonga Road recorded the city's highest sale price in November, according to research firm CoreLogic, followed by properties in Duncan Street and Balmacewen Road, which both went for $2.4 million. Dunedin's median house prices were highest in the suburbs of Maori Hill, East Taieri and Vauxhall. However, research from CoreLogic warned the days of skyrocketing prices could be numbered, predicting a cooling of the market over the next year. In Queenstown, house prices actually fell by around 8% between April and June, before bouncing back as people snapped up opportunities. Lavishly adorned Christmas trees have been with us since the 16th century, when devout Christians brought decorated trees into their homes to celebrate the festive season. And today, demand remains high for a natural tree. So we went to an expert, a Christmas tree farmer, to find out what makes a good tree, how to dress it, and what to do with it after Christmas is all over.
It's all in the shape, according to Christmas tree farmer Andrew McAllister. Based at Swananoa, just north of Christchurch, he learned about farming Christmas trees while working in Denmark 14 years ago. Today he's the man to go to for picking a good Christmas tree and presenting it well.
This is the northern side, so it's going to have a bit more foliage on this side. So when you're setting up your tree, you want to make sure, when you're putting it in the corner, to face the bushy side on the display side, because around the back, not so much foliage.
His Danish work experience taught him the skills to create the perfect shape buyers wanted his business, needle-fresh Christmas trees.
These trees don't grow like this naturally. What we do is we trim the branches back so they multi-branch out, and that's what gives you that nice conifer look that most customers are looking for. So when it comes to decorating these kinds of trees, they're not going to support like really heavy decorations, so lots of lighting and lighter sort of decorations, and quite often people wrap like tinsel around them in a sort of a loop.
And McAllister has some good advice on what to do with the old tree after the festive season is all over.
And if you're worried about getting rid of your fresh tree after Christmas, people ask me about this. Some people offer the service of picking up trees after Christmas. I sort of recommend put it behind the shed for a few weeks over summer. It'll dry out really quick. Give the kids a little handsaw and dice it up and put it in your recycle bin.
To keep your Christmas tree looking its best, Andrew says it's important to water them every day, ensuring it'll last until the new year. In Rangiora, the South Today.
FIRKNA after the break on the South Today, a young Alexandra girl who's been adopted by an alpaca, and we take a look back at the news events that shaped the month of May.
It's time to splash out at My Mate John's and choose the deal. This weekend only, John's offering 2 great credit deals. Pay nothing for 12 months and then get another 12 months interest-free, or choose smaller payments over 24 months interest-free. It's up to you. Pay nothing until 2022 or pay it off over longer. Splash out and choose the deal.
Where'd you get that furniture from? Stafford Street and My Mate John.
Living Well Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency, and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Can't stop believing I'm the greatest.
I love saving goals and I love the support of our sponsors.
I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, including the ODT. Thanks to our sponsors, especially the ODT, we all enjoy going online and looking at all the results.
A big thank you to Platinum Recruitment for supporting us through this whole season.
Thank you to Night and Day for sponsoring us and for all my crisscross fries.
Thanks to all our sponsors, especially Night and Day. I love your crisscross chips, only if there's some left after Emily Morrison's come.
Big shout out to Platinum Recruitment for helping us out this year.
Thanks to all our sponsors for supporting us.
Big thanks to our sponsors, especially McDonald's Dunedin. My order of choice is a small double cheeseburger combo.
We're McLovin' it.
Thanks to all our sponsors, you guys are awesome. For a good afternoon, come and watch us play football.
We want you at our next game.
Can't stop believing I'm the greatest.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Welcome back. Imagine growing up surrounded by alpacas. An 11-year-old Alexandra resident has been doing just that, raising the fluffy animals for her grandparents and now her parents as well.
Ever get the feeling you've been fleeced? It's a familiar one for 11-year-old Lexi McNaughton, who's been helping care for alpacas as long as she can remember. Now one particular alpaca, named Summer, has decided to adopt her.
A few days, weeks after she was born, she started walking really well and started to like come over. She started come over to me, and let me pet her, I'd put my hoodie like that, and she'd like nibble that part.
All of the family have been on deck at Drydesdale Alpacas as the 37-strong herders shorn of their winter fleeces. And while the family say the alpacas aren't really pets, Lexi has named a number of them.
Well, we got Nada, Summer, Layla, Kahuia, Vela, Irene. Who else? Let me have a look.
That is a lot.
Yeah, we got Honey, and who else?
And do they all have different personalities?
Yeah.
While the animals are tied down for shearing, they also had their nails trimmed and were given injections, a vaccination, and another containing vitamins A, D and E, which Lexi calls liquid sunshine. The alpacas are typically shorn at this time of the year, with some of the fleece set to be stuffed into high-end duvets. In Alexandra, the South Today.
In the days leading up to Christmas, we'll be looking back month by month at some of the news events that shaped 2021. In May, Dunedin lost popular former Mayor Dave Cull, and the city made national headlines after a man went on a rampage at a local supermarket, stabbing multiple people.
Nearing the middle of the month, a man went on a stabbing rampage at the Dunedin Central Countdown supermarket, seriously injuring 2 staff members and a married couple.
What I can say is that those that intervened, some of who became injured themselves, I think have acted selflessly and with great courage to prevent this man from hurting anybody else, and indeed I think they did just that.
42-year-old Luke James Lambert pleaded guilty to 4 counts of attempted murder in December, and Justice Cameron Mander lifted his name suppression without opposition. Work continued apace on the Southland Charity Hospital, with Melissa Vining visiting the repurposing of the old Clifton Club Inn on the birthday of her late husband and cancer care advocate Blair Vining.
It's pretty exciting for us to be here today and knowing that construction's underway.
The hospital will hopefully be operational by April next year. The Dunedin Town Hall was packed with people paying their respects at the funeral of former Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull. Mr Cull had died 6 months after being diagnosed with a tumour on his pancreas. He was 71. 500 dairy cows were on the move near Clydevale as they were guided to winter grazing. A group of locals helped out with the annual shift by riding along on horseback to keep the dairy herd calm during the 20-kilometre trek. People from all over the country descended on the south for the annual Bluff Oyster and Food Festival. As well as dining on the delicacies, attendees got to watch expert oyster shuckers race each other, with Vic Percy winning the ladies' title for a 10th successive time.
I've done my time now, so it's time to retire and let someone else have a go.
Next year's festival is set for the end of May. Across the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Queenstown rolled out the welcome mat as flights brought more than 1,000 visitors from Auckland today, following 117 days of lockdown. The Royal Commission's report into abuse in state care has been released, with major recommendations for change and calls for apologies. And Dunedin singer Kylie Price has been invited to play at prestigious American music festival South by Southwest early next year. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome Associate Editor Joe Simpson. Welcome,
Hi.
Joe.
The COVID lockdown is finally over, with hundreds of Aucklanders returning to Queenstown Airport today, so we've got coverage on that.
They looked very happy coming in off the plane there.
They did. After 15 weeks of public hearings and hundreds of interviews with survivors, the Royal Commission of Inquiry into Abuse in Care has released damning reports. We've got case studies on that. And Three Waters opposition. Southern councils are staying out of a campaign of opposition to the government's Three Waters reform so far. Mayor Hawkins says the group's planned legal actions are futile.
So it's a continuing saga?
Indeed.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
And now time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with tonight's southern view, yellow irises at St Paul's Cathedral in Dunedin. Looking at the situation, easterly airflow tomorrow will bring some rain to the Otago coast, but mostly dry weather elsewhere. A switch to cooler southwesterly airflow on Friday will herald a period of westerly airstreams and more normal weather patterns in the run-up to Christmas. Looking at the situation in the southern towns, Balclutha, Gore and Lumsden can all expect moderate easterlies with some cloud and 16 degrees. The Catlins slightly lower on 15 degrees. Heading across to central, light southeasterlies across this area, becoming fine and 15 in Queenstown and Wanaka. Showers clearing in Alexandra and 15 degrees. And in Te Anau, moderate easterlies, some cloud and a high of 16. Heading along to the coast, to the northern towns, Timaru and Oamaru can both expect moderate southeasterlies, rain easing in a high of 14 degrees. Moving inland to Twizel and Omarama, light southeasterlies and showers clearing there, both expecting 16 degrees. Here in Dunedin, rain tonight with easterly winds, an overnight low of 12 tonight. Overcast with periods of rain tomorrow and moderate to fresh breezy southeasterlies, a high of 14 and a low of 12. Rain on Friday morning with southerly winds, easing to showers Friday afternoon with stronger southwesterlies. It will sneak up to 15 with a low of 11 degrees. And in Invercargill, mostly cloudy tonight, a low of 9. Fine tomorrow with high cloud and moderate easterly winds, a high of 18 and a low of 11. Cold southwesterlies freshening on Friday with a period of showers clearing later, a high of 15 and a low of 10. And that's the news this Wednesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch up with our bulletins on demand. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.